If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben, and this is Syya. Now, this week, I want to talk about failing fast, learning faster, and revisiting mistakes. Now, we all are going to fail sometime, whether we like it or not, whether we're happy about it or not, whether it's uncomfortable or not. We all make mistakes. We all rush. We all, think that we know exactly what we're doing, and we go ahead and we keep rushing. We don't check in, and we don't stop and pause and just sit there and say, did I cross my T's and dot my I's? And all of a sudden we fall flat on our face. I've done it. See, I'm sure you've done it. I'm sure everybody listening has done it. The question is, when you fail fast, are you learning from it? Are you learning from your mistakes? Or do you just go, oh well, and just keep going? And 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, you find yourself in the exact same predicament because you didn't learn. You didn't sit there and say, okay, what are the SOPs? What are the standing operating procedures that I need to put in place to make sure I never do that silly, stupid thing again? Because guess what? We're going to come up with something else that we're going to do that's going to be silly and stupid. But the trick is to mitigate having to do the same mistakes over and over again. That's what's called life. So, Syya, let's gnaw on this.
No, I don't want to know on this one. Because to relive the pain, oh, the horror, the horror, horror, horror.
Horror?
Oh, the horror. Um, yeah, man. You know, mistakes are what makes life more colorful.
Yes.
Mistakes are a sign to you that you're putting yourself out there, that you're trying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to find the silver lining in all this because as a person where I seek perfection as much as I can, but I'm totally embracing the world of wabi sabi, like perfectly imperfect. I also know I have a tendency to be a little anal about things when I demand it of myself. So to make mistakes, and I think it's partially my upbringing too, to be brutally honest. My father was like, don't make mistakes. And he kind of drilled it into us kids, you know what I mean? And of course, now I have to harbor and carry that through my life. Good job the counselors caught that quickly with me, but now you're making me depressed. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. No, the truth of the matter is this is, you know, making the mistakes that we make, as long as you learn from it or take some kind of takeaway from it. You may not like the investigation of it, but at the end result, if you have some kind of outcome or at least call to action to pivot, to stay the course,
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, I hate it, but it's a necessary evil. I don't even know if it's an evil. It's a necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I remember really early on in my career. I mean, this is how long ago we're talking about, before direct to plate printing. Okay, back to the fact when you actually had film, you had to produce 4 pieces of film. You had to, electrostatically imprint those onto plates and then do the printing process. So we're talking 25, 28 years ago. The new process comes in where everything was direct to plate, so no more film, everything was digital proofs, et cetera, et cetera. Wonderful. And a client came in and we looked at the proof and they said, no, there's a spelling mistake. There's an error here. I said, okay, no problem. Give us a couple hours. We'll fix it. We'll come back. We'll make another proof. You can sign off on it, and away we go. And I got the client to sign off on the proof. And we looked at that 2-inch square on a 28 by 40 inch sheet of paper. And we looked at it and said, yeah, okay, we spelled it right. Great. circle it, check mark, sign off, great, ran it through the press. Well, none of us, including me, looked at the entire press sheet.
Oh
And
no.
because we changed three letters or something like that, the entire document reflowed.
Oh no.
So the entire sheet was garbage. And therefore, the entire book was garbage. And
Oh.
I was young and naive and said to the client, well, guess what? You signed off on it. And they paid their bill and fixed the problem. And I never
Heard from
saw
him.
that client
Yeah.
again,
Oh yeah.
ever. I won the war and lost the battle. And for years, years, I had a copy of that press sheet tacked up on a wall in my office with a big note on it that said dumbass.
Dumas?
Dumas. Yes, Mr. Dumas.
That's a great crew to be part of, community Dumas. I
Yes.
think it's, you know, isn't it a learning lesson? You remembered it 30 years later. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
it is, I still revisit old stories from like, when I was a teenager of like, oh, I should have had that comeback. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that funny how it just sticks with you? Because you know why? You learned from it,
Yes, we
right?
did.
And if you never did it, you wouldn't experience it. Like, I have a lot of regrets on how I handle things at times. Um, but again, like, I won't ever do those mistakes again. You know what I mean?
No,
And
if you were in the same situation, I'm sure you handled it completely differently
yeah, I would
or
run away.
similar situations.
Run away. Okay, no. Yeah. Yeah, no. Don't date that guy. Don't accept the date. I'm kidding. Sort of, not really.
Don't date that person ever again. Yes.
Don't even go on the first date with him. Okay, focus, bringing it back. Yeah, so I wonder, okay, so like when you think about the mistakes you make with a client or with in a communication with your teammates, how do you suggest knowing that a mistake has been made? How would you suggest to rectify it?
Well, I like the military situation. I truly like when you look at ops, divisions within the military,
Hmm.
they have a pre-brief and they have a debrief. And whether something went well or something didn't go well, they're always looking up to see how could it go better. So the pre-brief is designed to says, this is what our intent is to do. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. Okay, are we all on the same page? Wonderful. And that debrief could be, that pre-brief could be 30 seconds, or it could be, it could be a matter of hours, depending on the significance of the operation. But post-operation, there's always a debrief. And I
Hmm.
don't think that, corporate Canada, corporate America, corporate period, spend enough time, whether they had a win or a loss, going over how did it go? What went well? What didn't go well? What did we learn from this? What can we change in our SOPs? What can we do? It's about as leaders being humble enough to sit there and say, no project is perfect. We might have won $10 million. We might have won $100 million contract. The question is, okay, what did we leave anything on the table? Did we say anything that we're going to regret? Did we learn anything from this client? Did we learn anything from this presentation?
Hmm.
What can we take from this presentation and move it forward on the next 10 bids? Or whether it's an operational thing at the end of the day or the end of the week, saying, okay, what projects went well, what projects didn't go well, what can we learn from it? And
Hmm.
whether it's a 10 or 15-minute conversation or it's an hour, that's valuable time. But companies don't take the time and don't make the effort to do that. And I think that they should.
It's that hurry up.
Absolutely.
Like it's that hurry up mentality. It's a what's it? High reactionary culture then at that point, right? Because you're always chasing the fire and not slowing down enough.
Yeah.
And it's I hate to say it, publicly traded companies are the worst, right? Because they're always on that 90-day hustle. And
Exactly.
and it's not the healthiest way to go about things. It is what it is though, too, right? I mean, it is what it is. It's that's something where again, it's out of your control. Um, but knowing that what you can control, how do you work under those parameters, right? And mistakes will be made when you're in that rush.
Hmm.
100%.
And they always are.
I can't tell you how many times, and maybe it's just more my brain than anything, is like I will be editing a video, for example, and then I miss one step.
Hmm.
Or once, oh my gosh, dude. I was highlighting multiple tracks and I meant to slide them over, but what I ended up doing was I didn't pay attention to what I was doing and I had highlighted it, but where my arrow was clicked on was on the latter half. So when I pushed it, meaning I was sliding everything,
Right.
it actually shortened all the different clips. And then didn't
I've
realize
done
that.
that.
And I'm like, why is there such a gap? Like, where are all these gaps coming from? And then I was like, no fudging way. And it was
Hmm.
because I didn't, so I had to manually figure out where to stop and start because I didn't know how long I didn't catch it. So I don't know how long that's been sitting there in all my other editing that I was doing. And you can't just hit back, back, back because now every other thing that I had worked on was going to be, you know, gone. Yeah, you're, I'm having trauma. You're traumatizing me again.
You know what? We'll have a session after this session. How about you and I will just
I,
have a session after this session? We'll sit there and go, it's okay. But you know what? Here's the thing. When you do something like that, when you absolutely, as the expression goes, foobar something,
yeah,
it's amazing how much we sit there and bang our head against the wall enough that we don't tend to let that ever happen again. And we realize that, hey, wait a second, I'm too tired to do this editing right now. I shouldn't be doing this much of technical work when I'm absolutely exhausted, or I hadn't have, or whatever. I'm distracted, or something else is going on in my life, or whatever. And sometimes you have to sit there and say, okay, I don't have a choice. I have to do this work. I need to pay more attention. Or you set up and say, you know what? I need 15 minutes to go and have a cup of coffee, walk around the block, get my head back into this and get
yeah,
and get going again. And we need to understand our own fallibilities. We all have fallibilities. We all do. We all have lapse in judgments, lapse in concentration, say the wrong things at the wrong time. Um, it's what makes us human beings. The trick is not the mistakes we make. The question is how quickly and how well we recover.
ugh, yes,
And when we can sit there and say, all right, I know I'm going to make mistakes. How do I make the mistakes smaller? And how do I make them more recoverable? That's probably a good thing because if we worry about perfection from day one
not
and we
gonna.
sit there and say, nothing's going to happen until it's perfect, nothing is ever going to happen. And so we need to, as you said at the very beginning of this, we need to push the envelope. We need to, put our toes on the edge and lean over. But we do need to realize when we do that, there's inherent risk. And the question is, what can we do and what are the systems and processes we can put in place that are going to mitigate the risk? They're not going to get rid of the risk, but they're going to be able to put yourself in a position where you can de-risk the situation as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, man alive. That list, my friend, by the way, of all the foul, like, I'm like, that's a long list. It could be a
It
very long
is.
list for many people. And it's a sobering thing. But again, it goes back to at least the silver lining of this conversation to me is yeah, we've got our scars and our rashes or whatever, from it, but I'm proud of those scars, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That at least I tried, at least I am doing it, you know. And again, anyone that expects to be perfect from the jump, like it's the most unrealistic expectation and undue stress, unneeded stress that you could put on yourself. So yeah, that's kind of where my brain's at on that, sir.
Well, let's leave it there. I mean, my attitude is don't beat yourself up, put yourself in a position to do better next time.
Yes.
And realize, be willing to say, I made a mistake. What can we do to fix it?
Yeah.
How do we fix this? Own your mistakes, own your fallibilities, realize that they're there to learn from, and don't do the same mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what life is about.
Mm-hmm.
So let's leave it there. I'm Ben,
I'm Sia.
and we'll see you soon.
Hey, hey, hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not On This Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. If you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at IamBenBaker.com or me at BrilliantBeeMedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. See you next week for another episode of Not On This Business Bites.